Hello. Hi. Hi, Kolawale. Hi, Tamino, Mutsumi, Interior Savvy. Hey, our guest is here. Hi, Deco NG. Hi, Ray. Hi, Ray Onuma. Hey, hi, you know hardware, my people. How's it going? Hi, guys. It's good to see you. So let me start with my own introductions. Hi, Stellos, Nistels. Okay, so my name is Folakemi Oloye. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. My name is Folakemi Oloye. I am the creative director and CEO of Teal Harmony Nigeria Limited. Teal Harmony is an interior design and renovations company based in Lagos, Nigeria. And we started these live sessions called The Designer's Perspective for all of us, industry colleagues, for clients, everybody basically comes into, a space that's been designed by an interior designer or an architect. And post this lockdown and the coronavirus, the pandemic, we were thinking to ourselves, like, how are we going to make sure that everybody comes out of this with some level of sanity, without any form of fears, and just being able to, move on with very little impact on the businesses and the clients that use the services of us professionals. And so that's what Designer's Perspective is about. Today, our guest is Ajagunna. She is the founder of Decor NG. She's already come on Decor NG. So, Banke, if you could just request to go on live, that would be great. Meanwhile, hi Lockhart Interiors, how's it going? Funny Teeth, Funny Teeth, how are you? Deputy Bright, Stephanie Oluwaseun, Architect Sheyi, hi everyone, Amaka Ogidi, hey guys, it's so good to see you again. Observing Lines, hello. Nicole James Design, hi guys. So just wait for our guests to, request to come live, and then we'll take it up from there. Hi Baba, hi Strictly Baba, hi James Stad Interiors, hey guys, how's it going? How's it going? There are some people that when I see them on the road, if they just tell me my name is, their company name, their IG name, that's what I used to know them, because some IG names have just really stuck, during this. Okay, so we'll just hi Bamora Interior. So we'll just get our guest on. Hi. So, okay, I'm not sure what happened. Baka, if you could try again, it just said that it got declined. Hi, hi, Tosi Asumani. No, Totine Asumani. I think I pronounced that well. Official Taffy. Okay, so I guess it's back on again. Yes, let's see. Hi, Mixed Buddy. Hello.
Hi,
Hi, Banke. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm doing great actually. So yeah.
I mean, you look good, so yeah.
Thank you.
I'm
The
sure you
truth
will.
is, one of the cheats about makeup that I've learned is, once you do a red lippy, it takes attention away from everything else. It
I
just
mean, that's like a trade secret.
yes, indeed. Hi, Nana Abba. Hi, guys. Design spaces and structures. Hi. I'm not sure whose internet it is, but there's a bit of a delay.
I think it's mine.
Can you hear me?
Sorry. I can hear you. I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right. So let's start with introductions. I was listening to your interview on Niger Startups. I'm like, oh my
Oh,
God,
yes.
I really love the way you tell stories. Like, it's so nice. There's no way does it, you would always remember. So please, introductions.
Okay, so I mean, in a nutshell, so Banke Ajagunna, who is she and what does she do? So I am an interior designer at Decor Nigeria. Of course, I was privileged to start this company in November 2016. And we've been in operations for about 3.5 years. Decor Nigeria is an interior design company based here in Lagos, Nigeria. And we design for residential and commercial clients alike. Um, we've done about 21 plus projects since inception and, still counting. Yeah, we design spaces that we like to think spaces with design matter, right? We want our users and people that get to come into spaces with design to feel something, and we hope it's something good, whenever you're in a space with design. So yeah, that's what we do at the Nigeria.
Okay, great. Um, so when I was listening to your interview, I was like, oh, I really like how you started. And I was hoping that you would share, so that I honestly, because it's inspiring as well.
Thank you.
So that a lot of people can also see that, there's so
That
many ways
side
to
of
start
design.
this. Yes. There's
Okay, so
so many ways to
we
start.
had like, I think we started laughing. I don't know how we started, but so which part of the conversation do you think?
Okay, so the part of the conversation was you were working somewhere and you quit your job. You registered a number of companies. I don't want to say all the numbers, so I'll leave that story to you, and how you were approached thinking that you were still working there on a consulting capacity, and that birthed, and how this was not even the original name of the company, so yeah.
Okay, so I used to work in tech, right? I was not a coder, but I used to manage community spaces, right? And after about 2+ years, I moved to managing a brand. So I did that for about 2 months, but I saw that I wasn't growing, right? And I was what I wanted to do, really. I thought it would be interesting to, manage a brand, but then I got into this one. I just wasn't. There was no fit. So I resigned on a Friday, and I was at this point where I was like, okay, what's the next thing for me to do? Do I go back to tech? It's what I'm used to. It's where I know people. It's where I can. Hello?
I can hear you. It's a bit
Okay.
it's a bit glitchy, but I can hear
Yeah,
you.
sorry, I think it's my internet. I mean, now it looks like, 5 years put in 5 minutes, but it was a long process, right? I
Of
had to
course.
think, what do I want to do? Where are my strengths? Like, what would I do and really excel at? And then I thought, okay, I love fashion, right? It's like something I feel like I could be very good at. But then I thought to myself, look, if you had to be a fashion enthusiast or, a fashionable blogger or something, you have to have so many clothes, and my kind of fashion is expensive. So I was going to fund this lifestyle, right? Then I decided, you know what, I think I would just put a lot of things out there, right? And see what comes back. So this was me telling the universe, look, I'm open, right? And let me do a lot of stuff, and whatever brings in the money is where I will I will stay. So I registered about 11 companies on Host.
11 companies.
Yes. I registered the .ng and .com. I wasn't taking any chances. I was like, okay, let's type all ends. And then I was dating this person at the time, and he said, look, you designed the space where we're staying, a lot of people in tech. I know this was very early stage for, a lot of tech companies, because they were also they were moving from the old designs they used to do. So if you were in tech at some point, you know that their buildings were always painted green and blue, and, I think they picked it up from Silicon Valley and just brought it here. But now Silicon Valley was moving, into the future of design, right? They were designing spaces that were livable, like literally, like you could live in those spaces. So now Nigerians also, because copy and paste. Exactly. So at this time, a lot of people were now actually looking at, designing spaces that, were functional for their employees and actually really nice, And then there was this Instagram craze where you want to take pictures with a background, on a backdrop that's like tech with astronauts and stuff like that. Anyway, so yeah. So he said, since you have this network you can leverage on, why don't you help people design spaces, And I said, okay, yeah, let me register. I mean, it doesn't hurt to add one more domain to my already acquired 11. So I registered it. It was Inside Africa or something like that. And yeah, I registered this, and a week later, I mean, it was wild. I was like, how is this happening? But like a week later, someone I used to know just, called me and said, hi, Banke, I went to your, former office, and I was speaking with your boss, and he said you left about a few months ago. I said, yes, it's been a while. And I was, asking, okay, why were you looking for me, right? And he says, he has his partner from, I think, Norway, and they're looking to set up a new co-working space. And he wanted me to consult for them, right, to help them set up the space, not design, but like the processes, how they should hire and, get members into the space. So I said, oh, fantastic, I'm happy to help you. Then I just asked them, have you guys gotten your space? Have you set up, done the design? And it was like, no, they're still in talks with the landlord. They're supposed to finalize that weekend. I was like, oh my God. Okay. Design.
This is my opportunity.
I was like, look, I'm doing this. I mean, this is my company. I mean, I don't have a website yet, but I can help you, set up your space. And, so I decided to give them something for free. I said, okay, you know what? I will do the consultancy for free. So win-win for you.
As long as I design your space, right?
Exactly. Win-win for you, right? And, yeah, I met them, and, partner really likes you, because the partner is very finicky.
Kind of missing you there.
Hello?
Yeah, so I missed out the last few, last few words you said.
Okay. So he said his partner wanted to move forward, and they would like to work with me, and that was how I got my first gig. Again, like I said yesterday, it was like my beginner's luck. It was like the stars were aligned, and everything was saying this is where you should be. So guess what I did? I closed all the other domains and was like, bye.
I'm listening, universe. I don't want to play dumb. So let's go with this one.
So, and yeah, that's how Decor Nigeria started. I remember I was with Tolu Ogunlesi in 2018, and he said, "How did you get that domain, like Decor Nigeria? Like,
how come it was even available?"
Exactly. That was it. It was like, how was it even available? And I said, oh, I don't know. I think, when you're in your lane, I mean, how do people say it? I guess things would just, align. And yeah, that's how.
That's an amazing story. You see why I was like, you cannot leave us out of that story. That story is too, the background is really great.
It's a good story. Yeah.
Says the network is bad. We're here. Thought is just.
Oh,
I'm not sure. Let me try and change my network. Maybe that would help. I don't know if if it's any better. Is it any better now?
Yeah, I think it's from my end. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, network, why are you acting off?
Please.
Okay, so we've done introductions. So what have you been up to during this lockdown? Oh,
So interest.
before you say that, I just want to give a quick shout out to Niger startups.
Yes.
So myself and Banke belong to Niger Startups community, and it's a community of entrepreneurs. And then there's some people that they're working, they're still in 9 to 5. So it's a community where everybody shares like insights, concerns, and it's just a good support. So webinars, a lot of training tools that you need,
Yeah.
educational tools, all of that happens right there. Like, it's been an amazing one just being a member of Niger Startups. I think I joined in January after I met so I'd met Aramide a few times before, but I didn't know she was the founder of Niger Startups. Yeah. So the day I found out, I was like, what? You have a founder? Are you joking? I'm definitely signing up today, So, and I got on it and I'm super excited.
Yeah, Aramide is like an amazing person and like a good connector, So, of course, we're always happy to.
She is, absolutely.
Everyone wants to be around someone like her. Yeah. I mean, it's been good. So you need to ask about what we've been up to.
Yes, I was going to ask what you've been up to during this period.
Just before I think the first week was the end of March. The first week that's when people started getting aware.
The first week was that last week.
Yes. And it was really annoying for me because we're closing up on 2 projects and I'm supposed to get paid at the end of the month. But
Tell me about it.
this was happening, so we couldn't, would you tell the client, hey, you have to pay, before the end of, before we start working, So, we had to pause on everything, I remember just at the beginning of the lockdown, the first week, after the president announced that we're going on a 14-week lockdown, I reached out to one of my big clients and I was like, oh, I'm just checking up on you. I know this is going to be really hard on everyone, but it's better we're safe, and it was like, I have something big for you after this, just stay safe and we're going to. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the pipeline and we really just cannot wait to
go
get
back
past this, get an all clear and just go back to doing what we love to do, designing spaces. But yeah, we're working on 2 projects just before the end of the just before this started, and there were other projects in the pipeline we're closing on, but those are still there, so we just need to get past all of this and move forward. How about you?
About us, So we had quite a number of projects that we were working on. We had one out of state, and we had a couple here in Lagos, and then we also had one where we had 2. We had gotten the letter of award, and it was just for them to credit our account, and then we had gotten 2 letter of awards, and it was just for them to credit our account. So they're like, oh, let's just hear what President Buhari is going to say. President Buhari spoke on Monday, so they're like, you know what? Should we still credit your account? And honestly, I told them not to credit our accounts. And the major reason why I said that is because with the fluctuation of the dollar, I don't know what the prices would be. And, you don't want to have all that money. Now that's a commitment. And the expectation is for you to deliver based on, so I said, let's just hold off and let's decide, let's discuss again when this is over. And they were happy with it because honestly, it's very easy for us to have monies in the accounts and then
that
assume.
was a smart move, That was smart.
Yeah.
Because now the dollar is 420.
The dollar is 420 exactly. So at least that way we can go back and say, hey, before we can go ahead with this, can we revisit these figures and see what we can do about it? However, the other ones that we have in progress, I'm thinking, I doubt we can go back and say monies. But the beautiful thing is every single thing that needed to be in production, all of that had been done. Because also we were sensing it, and so we started ramping up really quickly because we're thinking that, you know what, as much as possible, wanted to see if we could tidy up. So like Remy Dada said, at the end of the day, we were at like 95%.
And you know, is that almost? Oh, we're almost
just
there.
that almost.
Just not there.
It was just that almost. I'm like, oh God, I wish, you know, there were even some things where they were already like flat packed and it was just a couple. And we're just like, you know what, let's slow it down. I didn't want us to rush it at the end of the day, miss out like all those finer details, and then
I mean, you're the better for that decision now, I guess.
Yes. and definitely I'm happy we made that decision right now. Okay, great. So, you know, in this, so November 2016 till now is about
3.5
4 years. About 3 years.
Yes.
About 3 years more like.
Yes.
So how has it, what have your challenges been in this past 3 years?
Okay, interesting. I mean, after the beginner's luck, there was a maybe devil's luck period because I had no job. You know, so you know what we decided to do? Decided to build content. You know, we
interesting.
Yes, because I always tell people, you know, there will always be the good times and the times where we won't call them bad, but we're not so
seasons, basically.
Yeah, so you know, seasons, and how you apply yourself will determine how you emerge from that period, you know. So we decided to go full on content, you know, writing blog posts. If you check out our Instagram page, you see it's just a lot of posts, inspirations and stuff. You know, that really put us out there. That really helped us, you know, grow. So it kind of just helped us also even refine the kind of things we like to do, right? Because of what we're posting, it kind of just helped us, you know that this is probably the kind of design style we prefer.
Like,
you know, yes. Exactly. And so people would check our page and be like, we like your curation, right? We like, you know, we always tell people they are not our posts, you know. In fact, we credit people who take this post from, if you check the post. But because it's like one style.
It's cohesive.
Exactly. So you can already understand our design, you know, and what style we work with. So that also helped us, you know. And yeah, when we would refer people, hey, check out our blog post, check out our Instagram page. And you know, it didn't let us feel the time, you know, because there were times
you were busy.
There were times when there was really nothing to do, I must confess to you. But yeah, I mean, we went through that stage, and we're here today where you're getting to pitch 10 times to like different clients, you know. Although I really hate those pitches, I must confess. You know, I sometimes tell clients, you know, sometimes I actually really do call them and say, you know, can you, you know, I'm happy you've reached out to us, but can you just probably shortlist, or you know what you want, no? So why don't you just check all those people you want to work with, check their pages, check what they've done before, or you know, maybe ask people to submit something, and from that you can decide on who understands your brief and who you want to work with. Don't tell people to go, you know, the old 9 yards. You work on budgets, you know, pitch 10 times, and then they're telling you, sorry to you, you know. It's those things really get to me, you know. And in advanced societies, right, in the West, I'm sure Remy, I don't know if he told you that yesterday, but actually you pay to get people to come pitch. like if you wanted me to pitch or you to pitch, you'd pay us for our time. But because they're not paying, that's why they're doing, assuming they had to pay each person 1 million naira, I'm sure they would know who they want to work with from the get-go, and But again, yeah, it's the environment we're in, and we have to, keep educating people, and yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, I want to say hello to Soso Braids. He just joined us. Can you hear me? Please wave. Hi, Albie, Latoya. Hello. Okay,
Sorry, I had
we're
to
back.
disconnect. Yeah.
Yes. I also had someone call in, and the person I kept rejecting the call, and the person just kept calling. I'm like, please don't you stop.
I guess that was why it paused. Okay.
Yes. So let's talk about pitching. Or maybe before we go into, but let's take it up from there.
My not so favorite subject.
So I think one of the things for us is that the way we manage it is we actually charge for design. And so when we come and we do like the brief, we take the brief, you are aware that there's a charge for design. And I think that also helps with reducing
I agree. But that's when you have to, build the concept from scratch. But if you are just submitting like stuff in mood board or something, I don't think they would want to pay for that, right? Or do they pay for that? Okay. I don't need to charge them. Hey.
No, but it's the truth. You see why? Because and everybody has a different process for how they do theirs. But we know that it takes a lot of time for us to do the mood boards, because for us to do the mood boards, we've already done space planning and we've done the layouts as well. So the mood boards come with that layout. It comes with space planning. It comes with the whole works. It comes with like a full-on recommendation. So if you get the mood board, you can work with it without using us. You see what I mean? So because we put that much thought behind
time into,
it's difficult for us to give it to you for free. So we don't. So design is different, and then the execution, the build phase, is very different as well.
Do you work with more commercial or residential clients?
See, the interesting thing is we do more commercial jobs, actually. That's the interesting thing. We do more commercial jobs, and we do residential quite a bit as well. But for both parties, it's the same rule applies. Sorry about that.
That was you. Okay.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry about that. It's this person calling.
Okay.
So the only difference is, pretty much the same thing. So I was going to say the difference is maybe per square meter, but not at all. We pretty much do the same per square meter, style for both of them.
I mean, when we started, we'd do this pitches without, charging for anything. But like in the last year, we've had to say, hey, we've been able to build our,
your portfolio.
Our portfolio, right? Yeah. So we're not begging you for these jobs anymore. So we are able to even stand our ground and say, hey, for us to, move forward, we can have a consultation call, which is like very easy, but if you want us to start working on the plans, the layouts, you'd have to, pay for that. But yeah, when we started, we couldn't really ask people to pay. But I mean, it's one of the things we've learned. We've learned over time. So yeah.
Okay, so besides pitching, is there any other? Have there been any other? And I really like what you did to overcome, that period where you didn't have a job, which was developing content.
Oh yeah.
Because it's so easy to also sit idle and keep waiting for a referral or something. But so were you able to get clients from your Instagram page just by developing those contents?
You know what's interesting? I always say I think Instagram is just somewhere where we send people to Instagram more than clients finding us from Instagram. I think our website,
yeah,
website is the number one place where people find us.
Wow.
We get a lot of inquiries from Instagram, but I've seen that we're not able to close on those projects for so many reasons, including budgets.
Yes.
So I mean, but because we're building a community on Instagram, so we don't just chase people away. We just try to say, hey, look, we're not able to work with you right now on this, but here are a few things you can do, right? You can set this space up yourself. I mean, sometimes you don't even have to do it at one go. You're even better off breaking this project into smaller bits, and it begins to come together very beautifully when you take your time instead of just doing it at once. So yeah, we just help people like that through the process, and hopefully they get to set up themselves. Yeah,
that's great. Okay, so guys, if you have any questions, please drop them. I'm going to be taking questions now, and then I'll come back with my own questions afterwards. Yeah?
Okay, question time.
Yes. Let me see. The power of belonging to communities. How has been your experience on Niger Startup so far?
I joined in March, and
oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, unfortunately for us, the lockdown, started. But I mean, I met you,
and I'm sure you're glad that you were on that community before the lockdown started.
Absolutely. I unfortunately also I missed there was a, what do they call it?
Brunch and learn.
Yeah, exactly. There was that one, but I didn't go, because in my mind I was like, we have 1,001 more brunch and learns to come.
And then the lockdown happened.
Exactly. Like, I mean, if we're going to take anything from this period, of course, it's that you should take every opportunity, once it presents itself, and just really go for it, Of course, after the first 2 weeks, I'm sure people will go back to normal. They'll forget all their lessons and hot takes. But for now, everybody knows that travel the world, go places, just because you don't even know what, you don't know where life would, you don't know what would happen the next day, right? So we're all more.
Okay, so Design Spaces and Structure says, please, can you mention your process again?
Ooh. Did we talk about processes at any point?
No, funny enough, it's a question that I was going to ask you, which is, what's your design process? So we might as well.
Okay, so I mean, happy to get on that. So we get the calls from clients, and the interesting thing with interior design, there are no call for submissions, call for expressions. What do they call that? So it's
request for proposal.
Yes. So it's someone that knows someone that would probably tell you, or they find you online and say, hey, we are calling interior designers. Would you be interested to, submit your pitch to join the designers which we are looking to speak with? So we get the call and, go visit sites. But I mean, during the call, we ask questions, what are you looking to do with your space? how large is this space? Is it a redesign or a new design? You know, redesign is you're working on something that already exists and probably just giving it a new, fresh look, or you're starting from ground up. So we speak with our clients and kind of get a feel of where they're at, and from that call, we can already decide if we want to go to site or not, right? Because you can't go to everyone's site. So then you visit the site. I lost you.
Yes. So you said after the call, you then determine if you were going to go to sites. I think that was the last thing I heard.
Yes, if you're going to move forward, right? Then you go to the site, you get their brief, you know, just listen and get, you know, a sense of what they're looking to do with the space, and probably come up with your own. Not probably, then you come up with your own designs and kind of merge your plans with their own needs for the space, you know, to bring about one beautiful integration. And then if we're happy to move forward, we begin to talk about the budget, you know, the timelines for the designs, you know. You do your research, which is like really a big deal. You create mood boards depending on how detailed you have to go on the designs. To work with you, and you know, once they pay you, you're like, okay,
let's do this.
Let's do this.
Okay. All right. So how does a startup get its customers? How did you start you know, how would you advise a startup to get their customers?
I mean, we started with the beginner's luck. Maybe not everybody will get that.
But yes, that lucky.
Yeah. You just have to put yourself out there. You know, you're telling friends, you're telling your church members, you're telling you're telling anyone that cares to listen, hey, this is what I do, and you know, I'll be happy to work with you. You know, when you start, you may not get the biggest budget, but I think that also helps you, you know how to work within restrictions, right? And you know, it just helps you even begin to, what's the word now, work, right? You begin to build your portfolio again, which is very important, because you need to meet bigger clients tomorrow. You need to show them something. They love to see processes. It's a beautiful story. Everybody loves to listen to, you know, your own unique story. So when you work with this small budget, you know, just do it and look forward to the times when you'll be paid, you know, and you just lounge, you know. So yeah, I just put yourself out there and, you know, tell everyone this is what I do without shame. No shame.
No shame. I think one of the things that I really loved is the fact that you've also used digital to your advantage, which is using your Instagram page to curate. And you're saying, look, my Instagram page, I'm not necessarily putting projects that we've done.
We've worked on.
These are things that are inspiration, and these are the things that show our style. Because when I went to your page, what I really liked was it wasn't a mismatch of, oh, this is colorful, this is this, you know, everything had, you know, it had a sync. Yeah. And so I really liked that, and I liked what you said about your website. Now, the other thing I was going to ask is, what design elements do you look for in generating those contents when you put them on your page?
You know, I feel like, you know, this saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what might be beautiful to me might not be your gold standard. But there is one thing that's beautiful to everybody. You know, it might not be your own style, but you agree that this is nice.
Yes.
You know, so I think we like things that speak to us, right? And we know that when our clients see this, most of the people that go ahead to work with us are people that actually like our style of design, right?
Yeah.
And so we're just all aligned, and it's better to work with people like that, because that way there's no, hey, I want this color.
Sorry, the network just went off again. Can you hear me?
I got a call. Yes, I can hear you. Hello?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Is this any better?
Yes, it's better. So again, like I said, just to rehash,
Okay,
we
great.
like to work with themes that speak to us, um, and that's how we've been able to curate our designs and put our voice out there that this is what we do. There's sometimes we get people that say, hey, I went to this space, and I'm sure, and someone would just send a message, Banke, did you guys do this? And that's because they know
Wow.
yes, and it looks like it sounds like a small thing, but it just shows that people are beginning to see your design, and they can recognize it anywhere, and that's the position, that's where we always want to be. So yeah.
Would you say, can you give us 3 things that you know that anything that you see that is Decor NGO, you will see these 3 things in them?
I mean, I think number one, it's the color choices we get to work with. We're very muted. We love colors, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's color in my background, but it's just very simple tones, that people can build up on, right? Our designs are very clean, um, very clean and functional without clutter, right? We define different spaces, and you can go into a space and it begins to unravel as you go in. You don't just see everything at once. It gets more interesting as you keep going, and I think that's how people are able to recognize, our designs, very muted, very clean looks. And, it just unravels as you keep going. You see something else, you'll be like, oh, that's their touch. Oh, this is their touch, right? And yeah, that's how we've been able to set ourselves apart, from everyone else.
Nice. Okay.
Some people have been wondering how do they get out of the funk? People are in a
Yes.
people are thinking, when would this be over, right? What do we do? We don't know, but there's something I'm going to say to that, right? After the World War II,
Yeah.
right? Of course, there were lots of deaths, and there was a bit of poverty, before that. But because a lot of people died, there were more resources, right? So those that were able to survive, there was a bit of wealth redistribution to these guys. And, there was this growing middle class at the time, right? And these people wanted to, oh, we now have some money. So, how, like, Nigerians are, there's new money, we need to design our spaces, we need to design our homes. It needs to show that we have wealth now, right?
Yeah.
That's when interior design actually became a thing. Before then it was loose. There was really no industry called interior design, the interior design industry. But after the World War II, it became, more. There was more need for interior designers in the society. I guess why I'm saying this is because we're going through this now, right? It's a pandemic. It's everybody's economies are shut down, right? But I think we can come out of this, and still go strong. There was also the oil boom after the World War II. You might say oil is like gone right now, but we have technology. Everybody's using tech right now. That's how we are communicating. That's how we are getting people, to watch us. I mean, you can build something in Lagos and someone in New York or Australia is, using your product. So tech gives you that scale, right? And I think more and more people, I would advise that more and more people actually find a way to integrate tech into what they do, right? Because that's the that's the future. That is now, right?
Yeah.
And only people that can actually survive and get out of this, and emerge victorious, those are the only people that would not be broke after all this is over. So we need to find ways to still apply ourselves and, not get lost in all of the things that are happening right now. So that once this is over, you're ready and you just, hit the ground running.
Ground running.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So Kolawole. Okay, so at Teal Harmony, go through your process again. Okay, please, I'll go through it at the end if you don't mind. Kolawole says, what are your quality, cost, and time service requirements?
What are quality?
What are your quality, cost, time service requirements?
I don't think I understand.
Me too. I'm not sure I understand the question. Kolawole, if you could just rephrase it and type it again. I don't understand. I would have tried to paraphrase it or something.
Quality, cost, time, service requirements.
Design Spaces Structure says, how do you source for your products? Do you import most of your materials or you source them locally?
So I like to do a mix of both. Our artisans in Nigeria are like really, when you get the good ones, they're like really good. So what we do is we kind of get materials, that they can work with here. Some things you can assemble here.
Yeah.
And some we just buy some bulk furniture, depending on the client's budget. We buy furniture and import, but we still make a lot of our stuff here. I think what we import mostly are like accent pieces. Those are like those things that give like the, finishing touch to spaces, right? Because we still have a long, way to go with finishing in Nigeria, to be very honest with you. I mean, when you see it made in Nigeria, we're trying, but so we like to just find that, very good balance, right? Finish with imported stuff, but build locally as well.
What space in a commercial design gets your attention the most and why?
What space
in a commercial design gets your attention the most and why?
I think, for us, we like to pay a lot of attention to reception spaces, right? Because
reception spaces.
Yes, because that's the first, interaction people have with the client, right? And if we make our clients look good, they're happy with us. Because their customers come to them and they're like, oh my God, I love your space. A space you love, you're probably going to pay them, for whatever it is you came for. So yeah, we love to pay a lot of attention to reception spaces because that's how we make an impression on clients and their customers.
That's great. Funkified Interior says, how do you handle clients that tend to be extremely difficult? She gave emphasis just in case you thought it was a mild difficult,
emphasis on, this is interesting. I feel like every designer has gone through this stage where you had to just, go back to a contract and say, I'm sorry, we can't move forward with this. You might have started, but some clients would literally kill you if you don't give them their money back, right? I mean, I'm happy to walk away from things that don't, that don't serve us, right? Because if you work with a client that's not happy with you, you're not happy with it, it reflects in whatever you do. And then they go and tell everyone, hey, this person is like, even if it's not true. So you're losing that client, you're losing future clients over just one project. So I feel like we should be able to walk away from things that are not serving us. That way you keep your peace. And I promise you, most of these clients come back later and, you become friends, because I'm sure they've gone through other people and see that, oh my God, that was probably the a good person I messed up, So yeah, I would advise, when you're working with people, if you try, you have to try to also, resolve conflict, right? It's part of what we do. But if you see that it's not working, right, I think you should be able to step away from things that are not serving.
Okay. I was going to pitch in on difficult clients as well. I think one of the things one of the ways that I also deal with difficult clients is I pretty much, because I realize that a lot of times, it's easier to avoid conflict than try to resolve it.
Resolve, I totally agree.
But most times, difficult clients also come from when you skip your processes. If you follow your process through and through, it really reduces that area. And so at the end of the day, when they're difficult on one aspect, and you try to resolve that area as opposed to difficult
if it's
all
the entire
through.
yes.
Yeah. So let your process will guide you ultimately. Make new design says, do you take projects that do not align with your design style?
We've never gone out of our, would I say, what we know how to do, because when you're trying to, not because we cannot, do other things,
Yeah.
but again, like I said earlier, we've had people say, oh, we saw this place and we just want to find out, was it you that designed it? And that's because they're able to tell our designs apart. So I don't know that working on things that are not aligned with our style, I don't know if it's good for us in the long run. And that's the major, for every decision we make, we're thinking about, the long run, in 5 to 10 years, would this be good for us? So if you look at things and see that, okay, in the long run you're still good, right? I guess you can take projects that don't align. But if you know that it's not good, then maybe you shouldn't, right? Because it's going to probably mar you. You don't know how. The things you do something today, it might not. So it might even be budget. When you compromise on budget, right? And you're like, okay, we'll just manage it. We'll just do something. I would not advise anyone to work like that. Stay true to what you do, and it might be hard sometimes because you might not get clients that are willing to go, through this with you. But when you do, you feel better. You're at ease, and you want to work where you feel good. Yeah.
That's great. How do you? Yes. This is from Funkified Interiors. How do you handle an intending collaboration that wants to steal the show? Have you done any collaborations before?
I actually have not. So what we do instead is just give people, if we know that that's your strong suit, we just leave it to you to, instead of meddling and, there's conflict of interest, right? So we do what we do best. And if we know we're not able to handle this, we'll as well just hand it over to you, and, you go through your process. You understand how you work, right? Instead of us going back and forth. Because I know a lot of people actually face, some people don't like to, lose control, right? They want to be everywhere, just delegate, just know what you do and, stick to it. You know why I say this a lot? We've, in our 3 years, we've worked, we've compromised, we've tried to do things, but, it doesn't pay you, right? And you probably hurt your brand, and you're just building something. You don't want to start that way, right? So I think you're better off, doing what you do. And when you collaboration is great. Don't get me wrong, but people should also have their own, what's the word now? Leeway to do, just shine, right? If you're going to collaborate with someone, then let them do their thing, so that there's no what's the word now, misunderstanding in the process. Yeah.
Okay, my cousin's here. Hi, Topsy Turvy. Tosh Interior says, FLK, you're blessed. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Amen. Amen to that. Have you design spaces and structure says, have you had a client harass you sexually and how did you manage it?
I mean, you get clients that want to take you for drinks, but you also have to say, hey, why don't we have drinks at the office where everybody? But you say, oh my God, and I know how to laugh a lot, so I'm just laughing and telling you no, but we can have a drink, while we were working. People are here. I'll be like, oh, why don't we just do it here? Since it also helps us save time, right? We're working on your project, we don't have to leave site, but I know it's safer for me to be where people are, right? Luckily, I've not had any of this, sexual harassment issues, but I know it's there, it's real, and yeah, people go through it, but I've never had to deal with any client sexually harassing me.
Great. Funkified Interior says, very true. Most clients would always come back when they see that you are totally involved with jobs. True. But Mora Interior says, how do you deal with your clients, stakeholders, when they have varying needs? E.g., you are working with a company with two partners with varying style requirements.
This is tough, because everybody has their own say. So I think what you can do is say, you know what, if the space is 100 square meters, for instance, right? Maybe, and you have 3 people that want something, that want to have a say in the design. Why not just share this into 3 and say, we will do what you want here for man A, for man B, so that, because that's the only way. If these people have to pay you money, right? Someone might want to delay your pay because you didn't do what they wanted, right? Or go back and start bad mouthing you that, oh, you don't even know how to. So just share it. And,
don't you think that would affect the transition of the spaces? Because if you have it in sections where you have this space has this person's design style and the other space has, and it's one office, don't you think it would affect how you transition? Because what will happen is every time you enter one space, it feels like you're in a different office.
So I don't think so per se, because it's not like you're breaking it into 3. And concepts it's probably, we want this sofa somewhere or something, right? So if you're able to merge their designs, of course, you're still the one that comes up with the overall design in the long run, right? Someone is probably just going to suggest, oh, why don't you put this? So it's just, it might even just be one silly piece of furniture. You just find a way to just incorporate, without losing the essence of your design, right? And everybody is happy. I think that's one way to go about that.
I think I'll just add that when handling clients like that, it's usually best to make sure that you've noted what the 2 parties want. And then when you're doing your design, ensure that you're reflecting it. So if you see that the person loves a lot of brown, you may not be able to put a lot of brown in the space, but make sure that there's a brown somewhere.
Yeah.
And when you're presenting, say, oh, but hi guys, hi. Thank you for coming back. Sorry that this thing cut off. Hi Momo, hi Amomi. Hi guys. Thank you so much. Home Affairs, hello, Funkified. Hi guys. This thing cut off, the session cut off while we were on. I apologize. It told me I had like 2 minutes left, and just when I was going to explain, it just cut it off. So Sorry about that. Hi guys. Hi everyone. We'll just wait for our guest to request to come live and then we will continue. Yes, she's here. Hi Interiors by McCoy. Uh, there's some names I can't pronounce here. I'm sorry guys, not because I don't want to. Yes, I was able to save it before. No, so when it cut off, it just told me share to story, and I clicked share to story. So I think it's saved. I believe it's
Okay.
saved. Yes, oh how I cannot go like that.
No, it was an hour.
Okay, great. Utrix profile says, what are the things you do or modalities you put in place to ensure high staff motivation as well as environment?
You know, we've been very lucky with people that have joined the team, right? I think they know that they're happy to do what they do, so they don't even need any external motivations to, you know, to put in the work. I'm very young, so everybody that works with me, we're like we're like siblings, you know. I mean, you shout when you have to, but again, they're happy to do what they do, because if they don't have that passion, like there's really nothing you can do, right? So I usually look for that. Like before I hire, sometimes I can be trying to fill a position for like a year without finding the person, not because there are no people, you know, applying for that position, but because there's something I'm looking for. You know, you can't teach that. You can't teach someone to be passionate about what they do, you know. So I make sure I find that first, right? And then from there you can start talking money, you can start talking, you know, whatever it is you usually talk about. But first and foremost, they find that passion in people, because then we can, you know, have conversations. And you know what's interesting, sometimes I talk to someone on the team and say, hey, we have to do blah blah blah, and they say, oh, I actually had this idea, right? I thought we could do. I was like, oh my god, that's fantastic, right? Because they are thinking about what they do, they're happy to do what they do. So I usually look for that in people, you know.
Okay, great. So I was going to ask, are you a member of any association? So maybe IDAN or any design group whatsoever?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to share why you're not? Just to get perspective, really.
Honestly,
or maybe something you've just never considered.
I've just really never considered being a part of any association yet. I mean, we're friends with IDAN. We're friends with Mrs. Titi Ogufere. So yeah, you know, the people in the space, we're not alienated from them, but we're just not paying members yet. I think that's it. There's no, yeah.
So I think you held an event last year.
Yes.
At the Mille.
Yes, Mille Gallery, the kitchen.
Mille Gallery. Okay, so what was the inspiration behind it, and how did it go?
Okay.
Did it meet expectations?
Absolutely. I think you know, everyone that was there, a lot of people had never met themselves up until that day. I mean, there was this lady, fourth place. I think yeah, fourth place, and she met God there, and she was like, you know, I've known you for so many years. I look at what you do, but I've just never met you, you know. And same thing everyone was saying there. You know, people have been designing for years, but I've never met their colleagues like in the industry. So they were so happy, I think, and that was why we wanted everybody in that space, as many people as we could get. So we set out to have about 12 people, yeah, and we had about 13. You know, attend the meeting. So the idea was just to bring people together, interior designers, young, old, you know, in one space, and let's just talk about collaboration, let's talk about growth, let's talk about, you know, what where the space is at that time and how we can move it forward. You know, how can we also help, you know, the young and upcoming interior designers, enthusiasts, you know, to be able to navigate, you know, getting into the industry. So those were the conversations we had on that day. And yeah, it was very impactful. Honestly, I mean, if the feedback was anything to go by.
Okay,
and
great.
you know, I honestly, you know, when you sent me the invite, I was like, oh my god, I didn't know about Teal Harmony. Like, I would have invited you to the event. But I mean, there are more things that are coming up, so for sure. You'll be number one on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Abifemi says, when you now see someone who is passionate, how do you encourage them? And I believe workers should be encouraged.
How do we encourage them to do what?
So you have someone on your team, right? Because what you said was for your team that everybody's passionate. So you don't necessarily need to do any form of motivation. No. So I think that birthed this question, which is, okay, so if they're all passionate, how do you encourage them to stay passionate?
You know, if you love what you do, right, you would always, I mean, you wake up every day and you're looking forward to, you know, doing more of that and improving yourself. You see, you come to site, you see everyone is, you know, being innovative, thinking about how to, you know, probably solve challenges that, you know, we're facing on site, and you throw yourself in there and you see that, oh, whatever it is you're suggesting, we're actually taking it and, you know, taking it on board and, you know, working on it. So I think that's how people stay motivated. You know, just being around people also that love what they're doing. Sorry.
Thanks.
Being around people that also love what they're doing helps you stay, you know, on your grind.
Great.
And it's also
says, yeah, please go on.
I mean, it's also, that's why I think, you know, initially we didn't have like an office, so we used to work from a co-working space. But it was one of the reasons we decided to have like a base, you know, late last year, because I thought, okay, everybody should be in one space, you know, and you're able to just pick up the energies of others, right? And it makes you want to also put in the work. Yeah.
Okay. Abifemi says, are you an architect?
No, I am not an architect, but we have architects on the team.
Okay. Funkified Interior says, which is more challenging? Retail design, commercial design? Oh, no, she said, which is more challenging? So she has corrected herself. She said, residential or commercial design?
I think residential.
You think residential is more challenging?
And I'll tell you why. So you're working with a client, and the person's husband and the niece and the and the child, you know, they all have their ideas, you know, and you have to. It also talks about what we said earlier, right? Having to deal with so many people on the project. So I mean, residential projects always have this. You know, there was this client we were working with at some point, and the wife was getting pissed off that the husband was not telling her some of the things he had told me to put in place, right? And then we have a conversation with the wife, and it's different, and she's like, I'm going to call him now, blah blah blah. So when you're working on a residential project, it's like you're a therapist, you're an interior designer, you're a caretaker, because you have to look after the child at some point because they want to go and have a conversation. So it's a lot to take, you know, to take in. So yeah, residential projects, man, I think it's more stressful to work on.
Okay. Test Search Designs. Please, I don't know if I pronounced it right. Please forgive me. Test Search Design says, when a client contacts you for a project, advising a new entrant of interior design, what should be the first 3 steps or things to do?
Sorry, I missed that. Let me see if I can find it. When a client contacts you for a project, advising a new entrant. Do you understand?
So I think what I may be wrong. So please correct me, test search designs. When you say new entrant, are you saying a new material, like something that has not been done maybe in Nigeria? So is it new material, new design style? What are you referring to? Oh, I pronounced it right. Yay, thanks. I'm not quite sure what she's referring to, but let's say, for example, maybe it's a new material. Maybe it's a new material that maybe person traveled somewhere and just found this new material
That
and
they want
says,
to
you know
work
what?
with.
Hey, I saw this material, that design we were talking on. How about we use this to create that? What would be your advice?
A new interior designer, she just answered.
Oh, it's a new interior designer. Okay, so let's put it in that question again. When a client contacts you for a project, advising a new
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
Yes, as a new interior designer, what would
should
you
be the
advise
first thing
when a client contacts you? What are the first 3 things?
So the first thing I do is find out what they're looking to do with the space, because that gives you a sense of how you should even think about, the project, right? So what are their needs for the space? What do they currently have? Are they trying to do a redesign, or you're starting from scratch? Then the next, it's very important to ask, is their budget? Let's cut to the chase. Like, okay, so what are you looking to? Sometimes clients never want to tell you what they're looking to spend, right? But then you just give them an idea. Hey, give us a range we can work with, because that helps us also decide on how to think about your design, right? The first thing, hear what they need for the space. That's their brief. Then the budget, and I think the last thing would be visiting the space, right? Because now you've thought about. That's the only way you can even begin to think about ideas for the space. You need to be there. I know technology helps you. They can send you like pictures and videos and stuff. But I always like to visit this space, because when you go in, you just begin to get ideas, right? And so I love to visit spaces that we're going to work on.
Okay, great. Great. Let me look at my final question. So my final question would be, now that, so you've done this for 3 budgets before site visits. So she's asking, is it budget before site visits, or is it site visit before budget?
You could, it was in no particular order, but I think the first thing again would be, first things first, their brief, what they want to do with the space. Then you can budget, or I would usually ask what they're looking to before we even start talking, because, there are some projects you don't want to take. So, there was someone that called us from Abia the other day, and imagine I decide to go to Abia State from Lagos, and then I get there and it says this budget, like you said, it was like, oh, so are we looking about 2 or 3 million naira, right? But I've already visited the site. Where do I go from there? So that's why I usually, tend to ask about their budgets before even visiting the site.
So you had seen the site, and then now said his budget was 3 million.
No, I'm saying the project is in Abia State. So it's not like I was going to get on a plane and go to Abia. I needed to find out, what are you looking to spend on this space? And then it says, they're looking to spend about 3 million naira. I said, great. We're probably not going to be able to work with you on this, but, thank you for reaching out, assuming we had gone to the sites before finding out the budget. it would not make sense for us. So I honestly think it's better to. It's a very hard question. People don't want to ask, so you don't look like you're money conscious. But I don't see a problem with that. You're in business to make money. They're calling you to, so there should be openness with that. I mean, you can just explain it to them why you need to know, right? So that everybody is comfortable with the conversation.
Sounds great. Budgets will give you direction. All right. That Spaces NG says, with the whole works, I suspect to say, with the whole world going virtual, how can I run a virtual interior design outfit?
I think we've actually been working on that, doing 3D renderings, right? Designing virtual spaces that people can experience with their, Oculus Rift and stuff. I mean, it's not new. There are people already doing virtual design, so just find out the skills and, what you need to do to get on board with that.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much. See,
Thank
Interior
you.
Savvy says, oh, Amaka. So Funkified said, but you still need to visit the spaces to know before budget. Amaka Ogidi says, I believe a consultation fee is to be paid before visitation to the site, before budget comes in play. Interior Savvy says, for me, it's paid consultation first, then paid site visit, then space brief. At the end of the day, I don't lose.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I mean, you just do whatever works.
What are your thoughts on this?
Again, you do
Do you charge a consultation fee?
Some clients we do charge them, right? Some clients we just consult and send them like design specifications for their space, and we never even have to visit the site, right? And they pay us for that. So I mean, it depends on how you engage in the client and how you guys decide to move forward. There's just no one way to deal with clients, right? Some people can tell you, oh, we always charge a fee, but then they would not tell you on days where they actually go to meet this client without already asking for a fee first. So I feel like you should just go with the flow. I mean, you need processes in place so that, that's the only way the company can grow. But there's sometimes you have to, there's some exceptions, right? So I think you should be able to.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, it's back on.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's back on.
Hello? Okay. So this will be my final question.
Okay.
In this 3 years, what mistakes have you made? How did you handle it? And what did you learn from it?
A mistake. Okay. I wrote about this in an interview last week. So we're working with a client, and this was about two years ago. And how we started was on a consultation, agreement. So we said, okay, let's start from there and we can move forward if we're both aligned, right? And we consulted for this client for a few months. So when it was time to move into the main construction work and design work, the client was trying to be funny, right? It's like, oh, but do I have to pay for this? Can't you subtract it from the consultation fee we paid for initially? And this client was actually just trying to be smart, so he could have paid for the entire thing from from the very beginning, but he wanted to start with that, charge him this token, then when it's time to design, some people are like really just, and I don't know why people I don't know why people act like that, but I guess people are just who they are. So when it was time to get into the main work, this man was just acting all funny, and then he started telling his workmen on site to call me and my partner at the time, my interior design associate. So it would be like, call them and tell them to advise you on something. And this was out of our agreement. It was, and at first we thought, okay, it's fine. I mean, since we're going to work with him,
anyway,
so might as well. But then at some point, there was this day I visited the site and actually saw that actually this man has no intention of paying the full design fee. So what he wanted to do was, get all the ideas, all the materials they needed, and just hire people to do it. And that actually got to me. So what we did was, so the next time he called, we said, no, unfortunately, we're not able to move forward. We didn't answer him. And he started screaming over the phone. I'm not even this was
like my eyes basically popped out.
Like project in employee. Yeah. And the man being a lawyer, so it was very, what's the word? Very shady, And the lesson from that was you have to actually be more, what's the word now? You have to put in more, clauses in. Hello? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening. So you're saying that you must have your agreement with the client from the get-go.
Yes, make it very foolproof so that he's not trying to say, oh, but this agreement is supposed to be for this period of time. I think a timeline should also be there. Sometimes, again, like I said, there are some peculiarities that you should make room for. But if the main agreement is there, then fine. That will be up to you. It'll be your prerogative to say, okay, we can help this person, beyond what we've agreed. But let it be clear and concise, and that way everybody is aligned.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. The truth is, I realize that a lot of times, and it takes us to contract and process as well. I realize that a lot of times it's very, especially because of where we are, some people feel like they're smarter than you. And so they try to act cunny and try to get things that are not part of the design. And I also understand that as a business owner, you're always weighing and trying to make that decision and make a balance, a fine balance of how do I not lose this client, and how do I ensure that I still stay true to us and protect the business as well, protect the business bottom line and protect the client. So I totally agree with that. Have your contracts, stay true to it, and I think you'll be happier that you did. Now, spaces and structures had mentioned the question, I had asked the question earlier about process. I think he was saying, how is our process? And our process is so we have processes for like different things. And I realized that those processes, they've helped guide, so when we are on projects, we have a process. When it's the design phase, we have a process. When it's the brief collection, the discovery phase, we also have a process for it. So I'm not quite sure what process you want, but how we typically transition is discovery, which is consultation first, and then we do design, and then we go into execution. And one of the
Yeah.
things that we practice is that we are very aware that, you know, all of these stages cost time, they
Yeah.
cost money, because you put in a lot of resources. So let's take, for example, design, the computers you use, the brain work, just even being the one to come up with those ideas. And that's one of the things. So some people say, oh, we don't pay for design. We don't pay for design. And I explain to them what, you know, the hours we put into it, how much stress that goes into it. Besides, it's intellectual property, you know, so if we put a price on it, it doesn't mean that's how much it's worth. We're just saying we want something for giving you that intellectual property. If you were going to do, let's say you were going to create a logo now, you would pay for it. The person that creates the logo, you pay for that, you know, that creativity. So why shouldn't that happen with interior design as well? And that's one of the things that we're very strong on. So we charge design fees and we ensure that we get that. And then we charge you the project management fees as well for executing that project. So I don't know if I was able to answer your question, structured spaces and design. Amaka Ogidi says consultation fee to be paid before visitation to site, before budget comes into play. I agree with you, but I also know that consultation fees will vary per relationship.
Right.
So if the person has paid you consultation fee the first time, chances are every time you have another project, they're not going to pay you that consultation fee anymore. It has become so. Consultation fees usually work best with, I don't know for us, but it works best with like first time you know, a first time client. And then once we build that relationship with people, the consultation fees don't apply to us anymore. So I don't know if that helps. I believe consultation fees should be paid before visitation to site. I agree with you. So this one now, the one Interior Savvy is saying is, I really like. And I don't know if it's a she or he, says, for me, paid consultation first, paid site visit, then space brief. So she's saying, or he's saying that
you pay everything.
They charge for consultation, and for me to come and see your space. And that's amazing if you're able to pull it off, because, you know, that's different levels of income right there.
I mean, for up and coming designers.
And says, hello, Teal Harmony. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, for up and coming designers, we can't tell them, hey, you have to ask your clients to pay for. No, they're not able to do that, right? Because they're still new. So I think this comes as you grow, you know. So yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think it's one of those things, because you have to have proven yourself.
Absolutely,
and it is when you prove yourself that you build trust. You know, and that's one of the things about consultation. It's a dance, really, because sometimes with consultation, there's the bit of, you don't want to also take on it. So for me, one of the things we also do in terms of consultation fees is we originally started charging consultation fees. And then in 2020, we sat back and said we wanted to redo it. And the reason is because when we did a consultation, there were clients that we did not want to take on. But once they paid for the consultation fee, we felt like we needed to give them at least something, because they paid us for that. And we wanted to have the flexibility of saying yes or no. Also because we you know, we have three things that define whether or not a project will go for us, you know. And so if it doesn't fall within these three, then we're likely to
not
say
going to move forward.
Yes, we're likely to say no. So that was one of the reasons why we were charging consultation fees in 2019, but this year we decided that we wanted to see how we could do that, because we actually had a case where we consulted for a woman, and I didn't want to do that job. I didn't want to do it for nothing. She was pleasant, don't get me wrong. She was very pleasant, but design style is very far from our design style. And I definitely didn't want to take it on. So what we just did was give her some recommendations. But also because she had charged us, we had charged her and she had paid us. we had
So you
to
had to do
still
something.
something. And after that, we were just like, nope, we never want to be in that situation where,
You're
you know,
forced
we
to,
now have to do something because we charge the consultation.
and
And
you're
by
not
doing
aligned.
something, it's not do the design, but a consultation where we're now saying, okay, maybe you should do this or do that, you know, But it was something we didn't even want to be a party with. And she's wealthy. She's wealthy, so it wasn't like she didn't have the money to pay. She's wealthy.
No, some
It just, we
designs
had
don't
two
align.
different design styles.
Yeah,
And we wanted to
when
stay
they don't
true
align,
to us.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. And Funkified says, talking about consultation fee, why do these intending clients frown at it? What's the best charge for this? And it's really becoming a problem. On this one, I will refer you to Jennifer. Speak to her. She may be able to guide you on how you charge. Someone says, should it be charged on location or how, please? Interior Savvy says, Funkify, we have to let them know. It's like that because there's no rule or guidance laid down. I agree. There's a standard in the industry that says these are the different levels that you're expected to charge, then it will be very different than the struggle of deciding to charge for consultation or not. Fortify says, interior survey, some clients be like, have had so many designers come here without paying for consulting. Why is yours different? Like Design B said, we really need to see interior design as a profession. One of the questions we ask clients is, have you ever worked with an interior designer before? If the answer is yes, we ask you, why are you not using that person again? That also helps us to weed out whether or not we want to work with this person. Yeah, because you need to explain why you're not using the person again. If you say, oh, the person is just difficult, I would ask you another question to say, okay, what was difficult in the process? Because if you said the person was difficult, how do I know I'm not difficult as well? You know, no, it's the truth. So it's very important. So when clients come up with the phrase of, I've worked with many interior designers, you should check yourself. Are you now going to be one of the many interior designers as well? Why aren't they sticking? Because typically when a client is happy with you, you'll do their home, offices, everything that has to do with them, and they'll refer you. So yeah. Okay. There are lots of questions. This conversation just bringing more questions and more questions. Oh, guys, you just
I think we're on our second half.
Well, our second half, right? Guys, please, we need to go. I'm sorry, we can't take any more of these questions.
But they can send it to you, and we just, answer privately, I guess.
Yes. So you can send to me, but you never know if the question is for me or it's for you, or it's typically it's usually maybe for the guest. So if you send questions to me, maybe it's the guest that you want to answer it. I don't know. But what I would say is send your questions early on in the chat. We usually take the first few ones, and so all the ones that come later, we find it difficult to reach them. Not because we don't want to, but also because we, timelines as well. Everybody has something that they want to do, even if it's that they want to go and sleep. It is something, So please, guys, I'm sorry we can't take any more. So Banke, any last thoughts?
I think I'll close with this, right? Again, like I said earlier, people should find how they can apply, technology into what they do right now, because that's our new oil. It's data. Famine, there was hunger in the land, right? So I think we should go and find how people were able to emerge from this, these things, and still excel at what they do, right? So that once this is over, you're not lost, right? And I think technology can help with that. Data can help with that. I mean, there's so much data out there, right? You can use, like I talked about the World War II. Interior design only emerged after that because more people wanted to, make their spaces nice. And now more than ever, because we're forced to be nesters, we're forced to stay at home. People, designs are now glaring. Some people that decided to paint their walls green before, they're like, oh my God, this green is actually really tacky, right? I mean, that's just an example. So now they need you, designers more than ever, right? So people will be willing to actually pay, after this is over, because they're saying that, okay, we need spaces that are actually livable, spaces we're happy to stay in, right? So more people will pay attention to their designs, their homes. And I think there's a lot of potential for designers, but you have to be ready for it, once this is over. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Banke. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for accepting the invite.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for coming through. See you at 6 p.m. At 6, we're having Beddings and Beyond, Ogo. So see you at 6 p.m. and let's just share. And some of these questions that were not answered, we will answer them at the 6 p.m. Session. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
Bye.